So here we are then, the first race of the weekend for these guys. We've got 3 championships in one: the Auto Post Historics, the Hammerite Group 1 Touring Cars, and the Alfa Romeo Owner Club Championship, all part of this classic touring car club. And they're away then. Not the greatest of starts from Team Scott Andrews. Good start for Jason Christie though in the Ford Escort. He goes to the second row to the lead into Paddock Hill Bend. So he leads as they turn through the right hander. In second position, David Howard, the Jaguar. That gets all twitched up there. Third position, Tim Scott Andrews. Fourth is the Dolomite in the hands of Mark Osborne. And then it was Reardon Welby in the road. On board then with one of the Alphas, as we've got a load of Alphas around us. Ken Lark comes around the outside. Down the hill we go though. Christie still leads. It's Howard there in second. The top 5 are already making a break. So Jason Christie leads the way then in that Ford Escort RS 2000. He's racing the Post Historic Touring Cars and he loses the lead of the race overall and in the Post Historics, because David Howard runs in that as well. David Howard now leads from Jason Christie. Tim Scott Andrews is in third. He leads the Group 1 touring car race. In the fourth position is a Triumph Dolomite Sprint. Mark Osborne, he runs in the Post Historics. Reardon Welby is second in the Group 1s and fifth overall. Tim Scott Andrews makes his way ahead of Jason Christie. Now that's a change for second, but Christie comes back at him into Paddock Hill Bend. But Tim Scott Andrews finds a grip round the outside, stays in front. So he's in second now. Christie down to third. He normally races in the MSVR Project 8 Racing Saloons, so when it comes to Lapra he may not be so used to that. Anyway, down to Granville Bend they go. David Howard's got a bit of a gap now as they head through Graham Hill Bend. Back a few places behind there is the Ford Escort RS of John Wright. He sits fourth in the Post Historics. So up into clear away to complete another lap are the leaders. David Howard still getting away after lap 1. He had a gap of 1.3 seconds. So perhaps that 1.3 isn't much more than that now. Tim Scott Andrews powering away from Jason Christie down the straight. What was 1.3 is now 1.2. Attempt caught by Tim Scott Andrews. And then now there's Dolomite ahead of the Rover. So that's the Mark Osborne car ahead of Reardon Welby. They will head up the hill chase after Jason Christie. We can ride on board down into Paddock Hill Bend. We're on board with the Alfa Romeo 75 of David Messenger. He chases after the car in front of him. That's Jonathan Griffin in the Alfa Romeo Giulia Sprint. As we now get onto the brakes with Druids, Messenger perhaps going for that tighter line. Can he find a way through here past Jonathan Griffin? He's really having a real go at this now as we exit the corner. I think he's done it then, a change of position. That is a change in the Alfa Romeos as well. Messenger goes ahead of Griffin. They head out of Graham Hill Bend in front there, side by side as well. One of them is Dean Hamilton in the Alfa Romeo 33. The other one, I think, is Richard Merrell in the Alfa Romeo Giulia. That's battle for second in the Alphas. Ken Lark leads it. He's got a bit of a gap. So Messenger down to third now in that. And of course, over this lap, up into fourth has gone a on-board car of Dave Messenger. And down to fifth, Jonathan Griffin. Right, down into Graham Bend. Top 2 really getting away. Now Jason Christie sits in third. Fourth there is the Dolomite in the hands of Mark Osborne. Lead last time was 1.24, went up to 2.37 last time, so David Howard getting a move on. Down the hill comes Hamilton under pressure from Messenger and Griffin there as well. So this is battle for third in the Alphas. And much further down overall, I'm not going to work that out because it would take half of the race to work that out. Side by side though, we have a change, have we? Because Messenger having a real go to get through Jonathan Griffin there as well as they all head up into clearways. It's the inside line for Messenger. He goes through then, so Messenger into third over in the Alpha part of the race. Messenger leads. That's a change of the leading class as well because they're both running class 4. Messenger goes ahead of Hamilton. Now Hamilton under lots of pressure from Griffin, who comes to come around the outside. The Paddock Road, he does it. He goes up to 4th in the Alpha class. The Alpha race late on the brakes in the Giulia Sprint is Griffin. He runs in class 3 in the Alphas. He runs second in that. Richard Merrell leads class 3. We can ride on board with Griffin. He goes down a gear. He can see his class leader just up the road in the Alfa Romeo Giulia GTJ of Richard Merrell, class 3 leader. Second Griffin, who we're on board with. He runs, of course, like I say, fourth in the Alpha part of the race. That's Graham Hill Bend. Chasing after the car in front, that is Dave Messenger. And then returning to the left-hander, which is Surtees corner. The right-hander, which is McLaren. Then down a gear for Clearways. Messenger just starting to pull away now from Griffin to complete another lap. And here they come then across the line. Side by side behind Griffin, and that's a change for fifth in the Alphas. So up position goes Will Dick. He runs in class 3. He's gone ahead of Dean Hamilton, who's falling right down the order now in the Alfa 33. He was up in the top 3 earlier. He's now down to 6th in the Alfa Romeo part of the race. 3 championships in 1, trying to keep eye on all of them. At the moment we're concentrating on the Alpha part of the race. To Graham Bend. Now Neil Bray is next up. He runs in the Ford Fiesta, running in Group 1 Class E. He leads that, he's the only one running in it. He is running in 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5th I think, in Group 1. He's attacking Dean Hamilton through Clearways. Here he comes up on the inside. Neil Bray's trying. He was racing the BMW 36 M3 earlier on this afternoon in pre-93 touring cars. But now Neil Bray, the power, doesn't come in. And Neil Adams is the BMW E30. Another Group 1 car. So this is the battle for 5th in the Group 1 race. Neil Adams on the outside. Neil Bray on the inside. Bray stays in front for the moment. They run different classes in Group 1, but like I say, they're both running in Group 1. 5th and 6th, that is, then in, like I said, Group 1 part of the race. And we're spinning at Paddock Hill Bend. Peter Smart in the Alpha Sud, that is. Meanwhile, we can ride on board with Messenger once again. He's putting the pressure on here. Putting the pressure on to Richard Merrell, who's second in the Alphas. Here comes Messenger on the inside here, trying to get second in the Alfa Romeo part of the race. And that they are closely following the Capri, I think, of Malk Best as they head down into Paddock Hill Bend. Now, what has Messenger done? Because of the camera slight angle, can't quite work out. He's gone second, I reckon, in the Alphas, yes. He's gone ahead then of... he's gone ahead of Richard Merrell. So it's a great run. Oh no, he hasn't, because Merrell back up on the inside into Druids. They're both trying to find a way past the Capri here of Mount Best. Down the hill they come, just falling away slightly out the corner for Messenger. Into Graham Hill Bend. Richard Merrell really trying to find a way past Malk Best. Malk Best runs in Group 1, so he will run 7th, we think, in Group 1. We look back to Graham Hill Bend, where we can see into Lappery now for David Howard and for Tim Scott Andrews, who started to close him in once again. They just lapped the car there of Tony Crates. They've already lapped the Alpha Sud, they did get out the gravel of Peter Smart. Tony Crates runs in the post-historic, and Smart runs in the Group 1, it says here, rather than the Alphas. That's interesting if that's the case. Right, Howard and Scott Andrews then, like I say, getting into the Lappery now. So, they complete the 9th lap of the race. There's 1.2 seconds between the cars, about 1.25 seconds between Howard and Scott Andrews. They head up the hill. Now on their 11th lap of the race. Not much between these two cars at all. They've got that big group of Alphas and other things in that battle in front. And here they come then down the hill. Howard really gets away from Scott Andrews through the lap, I think, on the cars. They lapped with the Vauxhall Forenza of Gary Fletcher. He runs in the post-historics. And off there into the barriers, down towards Paddock Hill Bend. Don't see that very often. That's John Wright, one of the post-historic cars. He was running, I think, 6th overall, and that would equate to 4th in the post-historics. So that'd be retiring the race for the Ford Escort driver. Out the 22 starters, we've had a few retirements now, but that is one of them. One of the front runners. Right, back to the 3rd overall across the line. Jason Christie here right with ahead of Mark Osborne. The Escort versus the Dolomite, battling for second in Post Historic. They're in different classes of Post Historic, but still battling for second in that championship. So they come down the hill, when they crossed the line there was all of 1/10 of a second between the two cars. Meanwhile they're 10 seconds behind the leaders, and the lead went up that time, up to 1.3, another 10th. Howard pulled out. Of course, David Howard leading the Post Historic race, and that's what we have here. This time second though in Post Historic, getting stuck behind the Lappery Jason Christie, but he just about stays in front of the Dolomite. Sprint of Mark Osborne. One of the Alpha that was running it in second earlier in class, Richard Merrell in the Julia, just retired from the race. I saw him dropping into the back of the paddock, or the back of the pits I should say. They make his way down to the paddock. Past the Vauxhall Forenza they go, of Gary Fletcher. The Forenza droops snoot of Gary Fletcher. He runs the Post Historic, in fact runs in the same class as Mark Osborne does. And side by side now with a lap car in front, but the Dolomite slides out wide. Osborne can't make that one work. They run into the corner. Christie just makes a bit of a gap sideways on the exit of Graham Hill Bend. He was there. 15-minute race, not much longer of it to go, and trying to close them in is the car running second in Group 1. That's Rear Dawn Welby in the Rover SD1. Busy across the line, including this is the gaggle of cars, and mainly Alphas. The leaders are now lapping. David Howard moves up on the inside of the Capri of Malk Best. Next up will be Dave Messenger. They've lapped Jonathan Griffin as well, who goes side by side now with the Capri. But David Howard's lead has come down quite dramatically. 12 laps completed. There's less than 6/10 of a second now. This is the closest it's been all race between Howard and Scott Andrews. Now, because Post Historic and Group 1 have been racing together so far this year, these two drivers have had plenty of battles throughout the year so far. And now David Howard and Scott Andrews getting together once again. Neil Bray they have to lap now in the Fiesta. Once they've done him, I think it's Neil Bray up there. Once they've done him, they will have a bit of a gap. Yes, it is Neil Bray. He runs now. It's third in Group 1. So that's incredible trap from Neil Bray in the little Fiesta. So they both lap him now. Across the line they come then to complete another lap of the race. It's under 4/10 of a second now. With the time left, they should squeeze in about 3 more laps. So Team Scott Andrews is soon going to be thinking about where he can make a move as they head up into the Druids hairpin. Nowhere that time for Scott Andrews to find a way past. Down the hill they go. Both of these people, drivers, at least they don't knock each other out the race. Their cars, at least they don't expire or anything like that. Both of these guys will win the championship race and will win a class obviously as well. So full points they will get. So slides up on the inside. I think that was the Alpha stud of Peter Smart. So out of through Clark Curve, 2 to go. Howard still in front of Scott Andrews. Both cars lights ablaze into Paddock Hill Bend. Number 1 car, David Howard, Post Historic champion last year. Tim Scott Andrews normally races as well in the pre-93s, but perhaps with it being all in one day here this weekend, although they didn't stop him at Snetterton. I wonder if Tim Scott Andrews decided just to do the one. Didn't want to risk the car at all. With 2 Group 1 races being today. So down towards 30s then, 1 to go at the end of this, and now Tim Scott Andrews really starting to put the pressure onto the race leader, try and move around the outside. He was 30s. Now he goes to the swooping line through clearways. Is this going to work for him as they come up onto the Clark Curve and then the Brabham Straight? We think the Rover's got a bit more grunt than the Jaguar. Yes, he has. He draws up alongside. They will get, if there was such a thing in the Classic Touring Car Racing Club, a last lap board, but they have to rely on other sources. So side by side almost up the hill, David Howard just about stays in front at the moment. He defends the line heading up into Druids on this, like I say, the last lap of the race, and still Scott Andrews now trying to cut back down the hill, but Howard has that inside line covered if need be. A definite drying line here now at Brands Hatch. Down the Cooper Straight, we're going down towards 30's corner. Howard still with that bit of a gap to Scott Andrews through 30's, then through McLaren, then onto the brakes into Clearway's corner, and there's about 2 car lengths between Howard and Scott Andrews. Now the Rover's going to really have to use its power if he's going to win, but he's certainly coming up alongside David Howard now. The checker flag out, and it's side by side across the line, but it's David Howard that takes them by about a tenth of a second. We get the official classification of that in a moment. Tim Scott Andrews there in second, wins Group 1. Third overall goes to Jason Christie, but right behind him to finish in 4th is Mark Osborne. So Christie second in Group in Post Historic, third Mark Osborne, second in Group 1 and 5th overall Reardon Welby in the Rover SD1. William Jenkins will eventually come through 6th overall in the BMW 3 litre CSL. He finished 4th in Post Historic. He crossed the line, and right behind him is Ken Lark. He wins the Alfa Romeo, by the way. We haven't really seen much of him. He's the last person not to be lapped. He finished 7th overall. There's our results. David Howard winning by just over a tenth of a second. Second, Tim Scott Andrews, and to round out the top 3, Jason Christie, and his 7th overall winning the Alfa race.